said, feel free to take the mic off. I'm going to feel free to take my jacket off. So the first thing about being a photographer, one of the things you learn, a real smile is in the eyes. Right? So I want everyone in here, I want to do a little social experiment real quick. You didn't know you were here for a social experiment. So what I want you to do, I can't take the mic off. I want you to turn to the person next to you. Hopefully not the person that you brought with you. I want you to look into their eyes. I want you to smile really big with your eyes. I want you to say hi. Extra credit if you give them a hug. Give yourselves a hand. Congratulations. Sure. Human beings are hardwired for connection, right? That little social experiment you all participated in released a neurochemical in your brain that is more hardcore than any party drug any of you have ever. And this is a story about connection, so I wanted us all to connect really quickly. Now, there are a lot of really great stories about mountain climbing. Mountain climbing is it's a metaphor for life, right? That's why people do it. To get to the top, to succeed, to stand there on the summit and know that you are alive. This is not one of those stories. I grew up relatively certain that my father didn't care for me at all. No, it's true. A really bitter divorce and a really angry, broken childhood pretty much divided us for about 20 years of our lives. Not the motivational talk you thought you were coming to see. Anyway, my dad and I came together when I was in my late 20s. And I kind of showed up with an olive branch and decided that I wanted to get to know him again, and he welcomed me in. So imagine my surprise a few years later when I got an email that said, "Hey Josh, I got invited to climb Kilimanjaro with a couple of my climbing buddies, and I know this is way high on your bucket list, and would you like to join us?" Fuck yeah! Of course I would. So about a month later, only about a month to train, my dad, my stepmom, and their two climbing buddies and I found ourselves at the foot of Kilimanjaro, which is the highest point, that mountain is the highest point in all of Africa, 19,400 feet. Prior to this, I really probably hadn't done anything higher than the Empire State Building. That's pretty much what I know. So, we set out to climb Kilimanjaro, and which was the five of us and about 35 porters. So there was an army climbing Kilimanjaro, which is the first thing that this mountain taught me, which is that nobody does anything important alone, right? These guys carried chairs, tents, furniture, cattle, food, everything, for us carried this up the mountain, and it was amazing. It was an incredible undertaking. The other thing that I learned on this mountain is a very important phrase in Swahili: pole pole. Pole, pole, slowly up the mountain. Slowly, 1 foot after the other. Now, Kilimanjaro was 5 of the easiest days I've ever done hiking, followed by the hardest day I have ever had in my entire life. But pole, slowly, the 5 of us, the 35 of us, climbed this mountain together. So we're there, we're at 15,500 feet on the last day. Now, imagine, if you will, we were woken up at 10:30 at night. Now, woken up is a misnomer because you really don't sleep. The combination of altitude, incredible winds, 50-mile-an-hour winds, excitement, fear, all of these things, you really don't sleep. But we're motioned out of our tent at 10:30 at night. You put on everything you own because you're in sub-zero weather. The wind is absolutely whipping. And away you go. Pole, pole, pole. up the mountain. There is over 4,000 vertical feet to accomplish, and we have to do this before daybreak. Because the thing about Kilimanjaro is the permafrost layer that sits on top of it melts with the rising sun. When it does that, this becomes a mountain of ball bearings, and you will slide off of it. Right? So you have to be off this mountain, up, all the way up, and all the way off by 9 o'clock in the morning. Pole, 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 up the mountain we go. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, our guide, Teo, comes to us and says, we have to split up. We're going too slow. So there's a really good chance that a lot of our group, that the 2 hikers in our group, can probably make this. And he says to me, you can definitely make this. But it means having to leave my father and my stepmother. I said, no, I'm going to stay with him. Pole, pole. So those 2 go on ahead, and the 3 of us continue on. 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. We're still 600 vertical feet from the top, and then we still have a mile across the top to get to the actual summit of Kilimanjaro. Teo comes to us and says, we're going too slowly. You're not going to make it. We have to turn back. 7 o'clock in the morning, we're coming down the mountain. We've just traveled 12,000 miles to do this together. And we're coming down the mountain. We have not made our goal. We stop for a break on a rock. The sun's starting to come up over Mount Meru, which is right across from Kilimanjaro. It's the most beautiful sunset I've ever seen in my entire life. And I can see the look of dejection on my dad and the responsibility that he feels for this. And I put my arm around his shoulder. And I'm like, Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you didn't make it to the summit. And all of a sudden he looks at me with great surprise. He says, Josh, I didn't come here to summit a mountain. I came here to climb this mountain with my son. I was successful at that the first day I stepped on this mountain. I feel so blessed to be here. I love you. Wow. That was the greatest morning of my life. That was amazing. All of a sudden, I realized the biggest lesson this mountain could possibly teach me. This is not about getting to your goal. This is about every step of the way. This is about what you do with every single moment. I just spent a week climbing a mountain with my father, this man that I barely knew as a child, and in some way, that was the accomplishment. That was the goal. That was the amazing part of it. So we come down off the mountain, we go on safari, we continue hiking, we continue traveling together. We've now traveled together 4 or 5 times. A couple of years ago, I get the worst phone call I've ever gotten in my life. Hi, Josh. I just went in for a routine checkup. Melanoma, stage 4. It metastasized to his lungs, to his bones. I was going to lose my father. Sorry. The doctor said to him, go home, kiss your wife, make your plans. This doesn't last long. My dad, God bless him, pole, he laces his boots up. He's got a new mountain to climb, a mountain called cancer. First thing he does, none of us are in this alone. Research oncologists, general oncologists, nutritional oncologists, cooperative oncologists, phlebotomists, and my stepmother and I. We all get together and we plan our route. Pole, slowly. He goes through radiation, chemo. He goes through experimental drug therapies, life-threatening side effects, everything that none of us ever want to go through. And he does it. one day at a time, slowly, slowly, he goes up this mountain. We all do, together. That was 2.5 years ago. The doctors said 3 to 6 months. And the most amazing thing has happened in this last 2.5 years. It's not about the destination, remember. It's not about the goal. It's about enjoying every single minute until you get there. Somehow or another, in some amazing way, cancer has managed to bring the two of us closer together than we ever thought we would be in our entire lives. And this incredible journey of just waking up every morning, living in wellness, living in love, living in gratitude, living, has been absolutely amazing for him and absolutely amazing for me. Well, my dad came to visit me about a week ago, and I got the coolest news ever. He's actually going to summit this mountain. Experimental drug therapy has created a shrinkage in his metastases. If things keep going the way that he is, slowly, by the end of the year, they're actually going to declare him in full remission. He'll be cancer-free. Yeah. So I came here tonight to share with everyone here, really, was a story about a father and a son and a mountain. But what I really came to tell you all was none of us do this alone. Whatever you're doing, go slowly. It's not about the destination. It's about every single moment that you are pursuing your dreams. We are all of us on this mountain of life together. And I am so blessed and so grateful to be here with all of you. I'm so grateful that we came here together to climb this mountain. Thank you.